the Gasparilla Bowl. It may not be the biggest bowl game on the postseason slate, but it is a massive bowl game for both of these teams, as Georgia Tech is looking to clinch a winning season in their first year under Brent Key, and UCF is looking to clinch a winning season in their first year in the Big 12. This game between the Yellow Jackets and the Knights has an opportunity to be a lot more entertaining than you think. And today, guys, we're here to break down everything you need to know and, of course, share our official prediction. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and, of course, check out everything down in the description below, including that holiday special over on thegridironexpert.com. We've already gone through a handful of bowl games already, but it's never too late to sign up for those expert picks. We get every single college football bowl game spread pick and every single NFL playoff game spread pick for one very, very low price, and picks that we can guarantee will be winners, as we're hitting over 60% of our bets this year and over 65% in our best bet section. So go sign up for those today. Again, the link for that down in the description below over on thegridironexpert.com. So let's take a look at this game, guys. Georgia Tech, UCF, both 6-6. And all things considered, I think that's a respectable record for both. Georgia Tech maybe exceeded expectations in year one under Brent Key. A big year for them. UCF in their first year in the Big 12, obviously a much tougher schedule than they're used to facing in the American. Won 3 of their final 4 games, including the finale over Houston, to clinch bowl eligibility with Gus Malzahn. So this was a fun year for both teams, and the style of both these teams is going to provide for a very fun bowl game. You take a look at the offense, and we'll start with Georgia Tech. This is a balanced team, guys. 232 passing yards per game, 197 rushing yards per game. And a major key for Georgia Tech this year, I think a major reason why they're in this position, is they have finally had stability at quarterback. After the roller coaster of a tenure that was the Jeff Collins era, they never really found that true go-to quarterback. Well, in their first year, they got it with Haynes King, transferring into Georgia Tech from Texas A&M, and he's been phenomenal. Over 2,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 648 rushing yards, and another 9 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. That's 35 rushing touchdowns, or 35 total touchdowns for Haynes King this year. He has brought stability and leadership to the offense, something that the Yellow Jackets lacked for a very, very long time. 10 players for Georgia Tech have at least 100 reception yards. Jamal Haynes has 931 yards and 7 touchdowns at running back. This Georgia Tech offense, again, sputtered for so long, scored at least 30 points in half of their games this year. So this is a significantly better time than the Jeff Collins era. Brent Key showing he's the right man for the job, and Georgia Tech's vast improvement on offense has been really a pure joy to watch. Take a look at UCF. This is a team that has really battled injuries all year long, right? Never really seemed to be fully healthy. Maybe didn't live up to their full potential. But when they are healthy, they are crazy good. And when John Rice Plumlee is healthy, he is crazy good. 2,073 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, over 400 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns. The Knights want to run, right? UCF wants to run the ball. They're 4th in the nation, averaging 233 rushing yards per game. R.J. Harvey has nearly 1,300 rushing yards. Johnny Richardson has over 550 rushing yards. Javon Baker at wide receiver, 966 reception yards and 6 touchdowns. This is a UCF team, guys, that's very explosive. They're very fast. They're up-tempo, and they're very tough to stop if your defense is not prepared for it. But this is a UCF offense also that, with the injuries and the difficult schedules and things like that, the offense has sputtered a little bit. The Knights have only hit the 30-point mark once since October. That was a 45-3 win over Oklahoma State. That's it. So while they've won a handful of games since then, sure, they're not really being as explosive and as high scoring as we've been used to seeing. Like, the first half of the season was really good for them. The second half, it's kind of gone down a little bit. Which offense are we going to see in this Gasparilla Bowl? When you take a look at the defense for both teams, neither one of them are that great. And we should mention also that there are only a handful of opt-outs and transfer portal guys on both these teams as of this video. Georgia Tech going to be without their sack leader and Kyle Kennard, 6 sacks on the year. UCF going to be without Corey Thornton, tied on the team with 3 interceptions. That's really about it. In terms of big-name players, those are the only 2 guys that are going to be down, and both those coming on the defensive side of the ball. But Georgia Tech defensively hasn't been all that great. The offense has been there, the defense not so much. 437 yards per game is what they're allowing, and they're allowing 225.7 rushing yards per game. That's not what you want to see when you're facing one of the best rushing offenses in the country. Listen to this. The Yellow Jackets gave up 262 rushing yards to Georgia, 206 to Syracuse, 260 to Clemson, 267 to North Carolina, 308 to Boston College, 299 to Ole Miss, 227 to Louisville. The least amount of rushing yards they've given up all year was 119 to Virginia. The second least amount, 165 to Miami. They've allowed at least 100 rushing yards in every game they've played, and the lowest amount was 119. The second was 165. That's concerning if you're Georgia Tech. They cannot stop the run, and this isn't a thing that's kind of popped up over the last 3 weeks. This is something that's been a year-long issue, and now they're facing a team that's what they want to do. They want to run, and they're dang good at it. UCF, on the other hand, they're not that great defensively. I'm not going to bash Georgia Tech and not bash UCF, right? The Knights haven't been that great defensively. 393 yards per game is what they're giving up. 206 through the air, 187 on the ground. So if Georgia Tech can find a way to generate some solid rushing attacks, this could be a game on just, who gets the most tackles for a loss? Who can get a couple penalties and prevent the teams from getting, 5, 6, 7 yards per carry? This is a game that I really think can be decided by who wins in the trenches, who wins that battle up front between the offensive line and the defensive line. This is a UCF team, guys, that more than anything is going to need to find a way to force Haynes King to win the game through the air. Force Georgia Tech to throw. This is a guy that has thrown 15 interceptions. So Haynes King's been good. He's been solid, but he does have some issues with some turnovers. If you look at the entirety of it, UCF defensively, in 2 of their final 3 games, they held their opponent to under 100 rushing yards. So it can be done. And if anything, you're going to make the argument that maybe they're getting better against stopping the run, which means that Haynes King is going to have to win the game through the air. And 1 or 2 turnovers on that side of the ball, and UCF wins this game. So the battle for me, guys, comes down to the trenches. Which offense can generate better rushing attacks? Which quarterback can deliver more through the air if the rushing attack gets stopped? A lot at play here. Neither defense is great. Both offenses have proven they can be explosive, can be solid, can be consistent. Now it's time to see which one can do it one final time. This Gasparilla Bowl, guys, is to me a very good matchup. 2 teams that are very even statistically, even when it comes to style of play, even when it comes to the stakes of this game. I think this has an opportunity to be a high-scoring game. I really do. I could see this game very well getting into the, 28, 31, somewhere around that range. And UCF finally maybe cracking that 30-point mark for the first time, or one of the first times outside of that Oklahoma State game. But ultimately, guys, right now, I'm going to have to side with UCF. I've got to side with the Knights in this game. When I look at the numbers and when I look at what I've seen, I know the Knights have been spotty. I know they've had injuries and things like that. But Georgia Tech has not inspired me and given me hope, thinking that, hey, facing the 4th-ranked rushing offense in the country, that their defense all of a sudden is going to wake up and shut it down. The Yellow Jackets have been unable to stop the run all year long. UCF has had their way with teams on the ground all year long. I just don't see that changing now in the final game of the year. Georgia Tech has some offensive success of their own. It will be a relatively close game, but the Knights get the job done and clinch a winning record in their first year of Big 12 play. And while many fans sure were maybe hoping for 7 or 8 regular season wins, a 7-win season, a winning season in first year of a Power 5 conference ain't too shabby, and it's something to certainly continue to build upon as the Knights look to become a force in the Big 12 Conference. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Of course, check out everything down in the description below. The holiday special isn't going anywhere. It's never too late to sign up. Go sign up for those today to get the spread picks for every single college football bowl game and every single NFL playoff game. One of the lowest prices in the country, some of the best picks in the country. Go sign up for those today. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.